App Planning for Success. Brought to you by Software Accelerator Playbook. On Instagram at S.A.Playbook. Today on App Planning for Success podcast, we are talking all about the four cornerstones of a healthy app. So this is really, really high level, right? So typically we're talking more, on the development side, all the inner workings of development, but it is really beneficial to be able to have, a really top level look at, the main things that need to be in place in order to have a healthy app. So first is the most obvious, development, right? You need to have a solid development team, a solid development plan. The main thing that I sell with my clients is a blueprinting service, basically, where I work together with them to get really clear on what needs to be built, and then having a good team that can then execute that. Making sure that the communication is clear, making sure that the vision is clear, making sure that their chops are good and that they know what they're doing, that they have got lots of experience building that kind of thing. And that also they can see around a few corners at least and be able to, give ideas forward on, you might not want to try that, or, this thing might be a problem in the future. So, if you want to upgrade, blah, 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 things like that. So that's kind of the first cornerstone, right? So if you don't even have that part, then it's not even worth going down the road and trying to do any of the rest of it. That you've got to have something that works. You've got to have something that people can get value out of. And if you don't have that, then you're really kind of up a creek in terms of trying to have a healthy app product. The second one, which we talked about a little bit, but the idea of marketing, the idea of bringing people into the app. Now, in the case that you are serving your own clients and you already have a marketing engine to bring those clients in, and you are building an app that will then help them have more success, then in that case you don't necessarily need to have a separate marketing engine for your app. This is mainly for people who need to, they're trying to build a new thing. They're trying to build something that where they need to attract new people, that they don't have a way of just telling 1,000 people, hey, here's this new thing that you want. I've built it, and now come in and check it out. And so this is where a lot of people get tripped up, because they're so focused on the development that it's easy to miss the whole marketing side of it, right? So this, when it comes down to marketing, all that is just telling people about it, right? But it's telling people about it very efficiently, right? You don't want to just, imagine that the most inefficient would be you having to, drive to people's houses, that you've got to go this long way to just knock on a door and be like, hey, there's this thing that I'm working on. That's very inefficient, right? How many people can you tell in a day? But if you build a podcast, if you build a show, if you get interviewed on other people's podcasts, if you build a paid ads acquisition engine where you are, you're allowing yourself to spend, $100 to $1,000 to $10,000 a month on ads to draw attention to what you're doing and bring people in, then you're not knocking on the doors. The ads are knocking on the doors, and you're just bringing people to yourself daily. Every single day, you're just bringing more people in. So there's lots more that we could cover with the marketing engine. But ultimately, that's kind of the top level view is, having a system that runs without you needing to go knock on the doors, that allows for people to find you and understand what it is, that the value that you bring, that your app brings to them very quickly and efficiently. Nobody's got time to read a 25-page document. Nobody's got time to watch even potentially a 3-minute video explaining all the different things. People want to know what's in it for them within 10 seconds or even less. And if you can't explain that, then that's part of the marketing problem, right? That's part of the marketing issue, is if you can't even explain, who you're looking for and what you can do for them in a very, very short amount of time, then you're not going to be able to cut through. You're not going to be able to cut through the other noise that is happening around all of us every day. Distractions on TV, distractions on our phone, distractions in our daily life, distractions. We are constantly looking at something new, some shiny new object. So if your messaging isn't clear enough to be able to call out specifically who you're looking for, then that is part of the marketing problem. And obviously the idea with marketing is you want to actually bring people to you, but part of that is getting the message right, so that when you actually say the thing that you've been working on, for how to introduce what it is that you do to others, then you are able to really quickly and succinctly get your message to their brain and have them understand, oh, that's what you do. Oh, if I want that help, then I'll come to you, right? And then, consistently being there so that then, in 2 months when they've got the need, they remember you and then they go, oh yeah, that guy that did that thing. Okay, yeah, I'm going to check that out. Awesome. And then they finally take the step to actually check it out, to actually download it, to actually get signed up or set up or whatever else it needs to get going. The third cornerstone is QA and testing. Now, this is kind of tricky because you'd think that this would kind of go with development, and in a way it does, right? I mean, the developers should absolutely have their own QA department, their own QA, flow, whatever that may be, where they are, they're testing their work, they're checking their work, and you also, you using the app is its own level of QA. But ultimately you want an engine here. And what I mean by that is you do not want to set it and forget it. You do not, let me clarify. You do not want to do it once and then never do it again. What you want to do is have it be consistently done. Okay? So what this means is, you're finding somebody to help you, whether this is you're hiring your own freelancer, or you're hiring a team that does this specific thing, or if you're really just trying to keep your budget as low as possible, then you go into the app every week or every 2 weeks and you use all the functions. You try to break it, you try to use it in different new ways. You try to upload a file that's bigger than it should be. You try to upload the wrong file. You try to enter a really long name. You try to enter a name with a bunch of different characters in it. you just try to mess around and just see if you can mess up what's going on with the app. And then, when that happens, then you're able to report back to the development team and go, hey, this is exactly what I did. Steps numbered from 1 to 5. This is how I did it. Now development team, you can do the same thing. You can get the same error that I got. And that is very important. They need to be able to replicate it. And then as soon as they can replicate it, then you're off and running, right? So from QA and testing, the stuff that you find there, that gets sent to the development cornerstone, right? You're in your QA cornerstone, you're just finding the things that are broken, and then you're taking that information and then you're passing that to development. And the last one that is super important is support. So, with marketing, the idea is that, you're drawing people in and people are using the thing, but, they're going to have trouble, right? They're not going to know how to use it. Something's going to be broken for them. Their browser is going to be off, or, there's going to be something that either this is connected with QA where, the users themselves are finding the issue, which is probably not the best case, but it happens. And then in that case, that gets sent right to the development team, along with a screenshot or screen recording or whatever information you can gather from the person, sending in the report. Or they may need help just using the product, right? How do I do this certain thing? Or, hey, I have an issue with billing or whatever else it is. You're going to need to have this level of support that allows you to efficiently get back to these people. And so what that means in terms of turning that into an engine is making a process around it. So as opposed to just, hiring a support person and just going, okay, reply to these things, what you can say is, hey, I want you to start making a list of all these questions, and then I'll give you a list of approved answers, and then you'll know for next time if anybody else asks a question like this, now you know what the answer is. So you're kind of training the support person. At the same time, you're building basically this documentation library of proper responses, of helpful responses that allow you to then multiply yourself, where you don't have to then be replying to every single ticket from scratch each time, but instead you have this library of commonly asked questions, and then you've got common responses to those commonly asked questions, and then all of a sudden it starts being an engine that can run without you, or run mostly without you, or be outsourced partially. But you're still providing that same level of service. You're still providing a great answer, but you're not having to type it every single time from scratch. So for all of these things, there can be systems that you build to make it faster and more efficient for you to work, whether that's hiring a VA and being able to help them get up and running, even when they don't know a lot, that they can be trained by watching you respond and then start just copying what you're doing, but then also building that into a document. Same goes with marketing. When you're building your marketing engine at the beginning, you may be trying to figure out, okay, what kind of ads are we running? What kind of messaging are we using? All those questions at the front end. But then you get that going. You find wins. You figure out what's actually connecting with people. And then after a while, you don't have to you don't have to completely start from scratch. You can use the pieces and the components that you built before in order to just speed it up, for later. So I hope this has been helpful for you. The 4 cornerstones, again, are development, right? You got to build the thing. Marketing, you got to tell people about the thing. QA, you got to test the thing and continually test the thing to be able to catch errors before your customers do. And then support, to make sure that your customers feel heard and feel like they can reach out and get help anytime, and basically have success with your app, that you're not going to know every single question that these people are going to have or where they're going to get stuck. So having a way for them to contact you easily or contact your support team easily that allows you to see what they are dealing with and potentially catch errors, although you want to catch those errors in the QA round, when you're doing all the QA audits. And then once you have all these pieces together, then it comes down to refining the systems to be able to pull yourself out of them more while still having oversight, that you can have other people do work that is kind of, lower level work or, lower dollar per hour work. But then you still have the ability to speak into it and be able to offer insight or offer ideas for how they might get to a solution faster. So I hope this has been helpful. If you are looking for help with one of these cornerstones, please DM me on Instagram at S.A.Playbook, and let's get the conversation started. Thanks so much for listening.